mama kumeyo. Jenike ao, jenamie, ao jenamie, chata jenamio.
Good evening. Welcome to the very first live webinar of WNWP in our Facebook platform, WNWP page. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for the big support that you all have been giving. We have Lenny Koshal with us, and I'm now going to give you a small introduction about Lenny Koshal through a very short video. A very short video that his friend has made. Speaking of which, I will just wait for some more time before shifting to that particular clip so that we can have some more people built up in number of people come up in the group, in the Facebook platform, and then probably we can proceed. In the meantime, I have many admins and Dr. Ranjit. I have, who else are here? Anupam, Amar, Biju, Dr. Ranjit. Yeah, 6 of us here now. And
you got John right.
Bristow is on here. John is here. Sorry, John, couldn't see your video. And yeah, fantastic. So let us start. I think we will gradually get our numbers come up. It has been a very quick journey for WNWP, very proactive, a very unique group, I would say, for world nature and wildlife photographers. We are looking forward to bring in wonderful guests like Lenny Koshal himself, who will give us maximum input during this close down season of COVID-19. We all had big plans to travel to Africa. We had big plans to go see the wildlife, go photograph them up close, experience the wilderness. But unfortunately, all those plans had to be altered or cancelled due to the close down of aviation industry and international borders. Having said that, I will not take much of everyone's time. Facebook platform is slowly tracking up with the viewers. So I'm gonna take you to the next slide.
Meet Lenny.
Jabba Jabba. My name is Lenny.
Lenny was our guide during our 7-day safari trip, and it was awesome.
But I'm not your ordinary guide. I'm a Maasai warrior.
And being a warrior is no easy task. Your teeth get pulled, you get publicly circumcised at 16, and you must kill a lion.
But isn't killing lions illegal?
Yes, killing of lions is not only legal, but wrong. We have to preserve these beautiful animals.
If you can't kill lions, no one can become a warrior.
Not quite. Lenny, please explain.
Nowadays, the Maasai people have changed their ways by not killing the lions, but instead to go to the university to bring degrees.
And along with that comes a new integration society, which allows them to be more productive and provide for their families in a better way.
I'm self-valuable guide, and I have a diploma in tourism and wildlife management. I have a degree in wildlife and conservation. I also speak 3 languages fluently.
If there is one thing that impressed me the most about the Maasai, is that they are fully aware of the outside world and they don't plan to be left behind. So Lenny, asante sana kaka for showing us the great beauties of Kenya.
Karibu sana.
Perfect.
That was an excellent clip of Lenny. I really like that. I think if you all insist, we could play it once more, but then let's move on to the real topic. Today's topic is Amboseli, and one of the big 5 that Lenny will be focusing on will be the African elephant, the majestic African elephant. So over to Lenny. I'm going to stop my screen share. Lenny, you can share your screen now, and it will be great to hear some words about yourself, and then we can go on and have the nature talk about Amboseli. Over to you. Lenny, you have to unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear, loud and clear.
Perfect, perfect. So I want to welcome you in Swahili, word called karibu. We say karibu meaning welcome. So welcome to this session. We are going to talk today about Amboseli National Park. And first of all, I want to introduce myself to you. So the clip that I've just been played have already introduced me, but I will repeat. So my name is Lenny Koshal. I'm a professional safari guide in Kenya. I'm also a photographer. So I'm silver level under Kenya Professional Safari Guides Association. And also I have some papers from school, diploma in tourism and wildlife management, and a degree in wildlife and conservation. So first of all, today as we are going to talk about Amboseli National Park, which is actually found in the southern part of the country, that is Kenya. We really border Tanzania, that is around Kilimanjaro area. And actually the picture that you can see on the screen, that is the gate, one of the gates of Amboseli National Park, whereby it has around 4 gates. And I just want to share a small screen to you to show you the world map of Amboseli National Park so that you can be able to see how the park looks like or how big it is. So I'm just going to share it on my website. But before that,
Slideshow.
Yes, yeah, I can just discuss this one first, whereby the meaning of the Amboseli National Park, the name Amboseli, it is actually a Maasai name meaning place of salt or dust. Dusty salt, that is actually a place with a salinity. That is what Amboseli means in Maasai name. Then it actually started as a southern reserve back in 1906. That is actually some years after the first explorer called Jeremy Thompson explored the area just to do some wildlife viewing. He was a very courageous guy because many people didn't want to go there because of being killed or fighting with the Maasai, because the people didn't know about the colonial people or white people by then. So he was a very, very courageous person. Therefore, by that time, that is where now the gazelle called Thompson Gazelle actually got the name from. He actually got the name because Jeremy Thompson said he was the first person to see Thompson Gazelle in Amboseli National Park. Then again, the park was changed from the Southern Reserve of Maasai to a national reserve of Kenya that will be managed by the county government of Kajiado in 1948. Then again, in 1974, the park was established to be a national park that is managed by the national government under Kenya Wildlife Service. Then whenever you go to any park, first of all, yes, you'll be able to see some wildlife, but at the same time, you need to see if there are some good accommodations for you as a photographer, for you as a family, or for you just for any other kind of travel that you want. So the picture you can see is a place called Serena Amboseli Lodge. That is one of the accommodation. It is found inside the park. We also have Oltukai Lodge that is also found inside the park. This one actually in the middle of the park. The dust you can see just behind the swimming pool. is actually the dust storm. Then Kilimanjaro is just behind the dust. Then another one is Otilis Safari. This one is found in the far west of the park, and you can see from the lobby, you can actually be able to view the wall of Kilimanjaro in the place. Then now, as a park, the reason why people normally travel to this park is one, because of the elephant. Then number two, people travel because of what you can see in the screen, that is Mount Kilimanjaro. Mount Kilimanjaro is actually the highest mountain in Africa, with a peak that you can see with some snow. It is actually 5,895 meters high. So that is, we call the African summit. And actually it is found in Tanzania, but Kenya own the view. We actually own the view because when you compare the view on the Tanzanian side and on the Kenyan side, Kenya in Amboseli, we have the best privilege to see the wall mountain without blocked by any ridges or anything. And then, so those are the main reasons why people travel to Amboseli National Park. Then when it comes to photographic, photographers or any person that travel to Amboseli have to make sure they get this kind of a picture. That is the elephant coming from Mount Kilimanjaro towards the Amboseli swamps, or going from the swamps to Mount Kilimanjaro, the base of Kilimanjaro. So everyone always make sure that they get this picture, because it is the real thing that will show you or will keep in your memories that you have traveled to Kenya or to Amboseli National Park. So these are the swamps that I was talking about, that the elephant travel this place, whereby these elephants of Amboseli National Park, they have two feeding places. Number one is the swamps. As you can see, the elephants are spread all over the swamps. And most of the time, they go to the swamps during the day. This is because the area is a bit hot. So it is almost a semi-arid place. And these elephants, they need to cool down during the day. So they have to go and graze in the swamp so that they can be able to cool themselves down or wallow themselves on the mud. And then during the night, because the place is a bit colder, as you know, the characteristics of a semi-arid area, it is hot during the day and sometimes it become very cold at night. So these elephants, every evening, they have to move back from the swamps of Amboseli to base of Kilimanjaro. This is actually because they want to go and feed on trees and shrubs during the day, during the night, and also there are a lot of barriers, that is the trees and the shrubs in the base of Kilimanjaro, whereby they can be able to protect themselves from the cold. So that is the reason why the elephant move from both places, that is the base of Kilimanjaro and the swamps. But now, during the time of rain, elephants sometimes prefer, most of the time, to stay in the base of Kilimanjaro. That is sometimes outside the park or just inside the park, but not in the swamps. This is because there is a full green lush all over, and also it is not very hot. And at the same time, there is some rainwater whereby this elephant can use to wallow themselves to cool down or to cover their body so that they prevent sunburn or insect bite and all that. So sometimes they prefer to stay outside the swamps. And then another thing is in this park, we have a lot of geological places or some porous rocks, some hills that look like the icebergs that are actually formed by the resistant volcanic that are surrounded by the small slopes on it. For example, this is one. The picture was actually taken in a place called Nomotiok Hills. Nomotiok Hills is one of the observation points that we have in the park, and you can be able to view almost the whole park, and you can also be able to see the beauty of the swamps. So the one that you can see on the picture, this one is called Nkongona Rock. The water actually flow from Nkongona Rock. So these are the small hills I'm talking about that are formed by the volcano lava flow of Kilimanjaro that actually happened when the peak of Kilimanjaro, that is Kibo, because this peak is called Kibo, when it erupted. We also have some other peaks, like this one on the left side of the main peak. It is called Mawenzi. It is actually one that it is believed to be an iceberg or part of the volcano lava flow that happened many years back. That is around 200,000 years back when Kilimanjaro erupted. And also it formed this one. Then the right side of the mountain is called Shira. So that is actually how this one was formed. And for this small hill now, you see it is surrounded by the swamps. And this is actually where you find during the day a lot of hippos go and rest there. This is because the hippos normally graze during the night, since skin is very sensitive. So they have to go out at night to graze for around 5 to 6 hours. And then, but because the park has a lot of water and also the swamp has grass, so they can actually swim in the water or be in the water, walk in the water to cool themselves down. And at the same time, they are grazing. So what happened, they can go from the swamp and relax in this area, whereby it actually helped them, for example, in security purposes, like being attacked by lions, because lions do attack hippos. So like, for example, this guy, he's grazing just outside the swamp, and you see he has an injury, whereby we believe maybe he fight with the other hippos or maybe something else. But they actually take advantage and rest in these areas because the lions cannot be able to cross the swamp to go and try to kill them. So we also have lions as predators in the park. And then another thing is the park also has around 400 species of birds, whereby I will show you some pictures later of the birds that we have. And also they have around 47 raptors. Then when you come to this place, the western side of Amboseli National Park has Lake Amboseli. And this lake is completely dry. It actually doesn't have any vegetation, but at the moment, 2018 and 2020, we had a lot of rain, very, very long rain, whereby a lot of rainwater flew to the lake, and now some small vegetation that have been introduced by the flow of water from outside the park or some other places of the park, or even from the swamps due to overflow, they have actually brought some weeds which have now grown on some parts, mostly in the western side of Lake Amboseli. Then also, this lake was actually formed when some tunnels of Mount Kilimanjaro, that is a paleo channel of the river Pangani, because there was a river that goes across this land. There was a river, and then now there is actually a paleo channel of river Pangani that has actually formed an eruption that is believed to be related to Kibo. That is the main peak of Amboseli, Mount Kilimanjaro. So what happened is this tunnel goes through or underground, and that is actually, it was a river before. Then now it was dammed by this eruption that is actually believed to be related to Kibo. That is the main peak of Kilimanjaro. Then also you can see, because of this semi-arid thing, there is not a lot of grass in the area. So we normally experience a lot of huge dust storms or dust covers in the area, because the place is very, very open and it is dry. So when the wind comes and blows, it actually forms some dust storm. So you can also be able to experience or to photograph this kind of thing if you visit the place when it is not raining. Then in Amboseli National Park, the swamps that you can see, because a big percentage of the park is covered by water. So the source of this water in these swamps are actually in two forms. Number one, the large volume of water in Amboseli National Park swamps is rainwater. Then number three, the other percentage of water is actually formed when the snow of Mount Kilimanjaro melts. When it melts, it actually flows underground through hydrostatic pressure. That is the water that goes underground through hydrostatic pressure, and then provide or create that water that is there in the swamps. And actually it is seasonal. So that means, that is why we say the rainwater is much more compared to the water that come through hydrostatic pressure when the snow in Mount Kilimanjaro melts. And also it takes time. So the snow in Mount Kilimanjaro actually have reduced in size. Like for example, when you see in this picture, you see the snow is a bit smaller compared to this other picture. This is actually because there is a lot of deforestation that is happening on the base of Kilimanjaro. So it is also affecting the form of icebergs or the glaciers or that snow that is found in the mountain. So you find it also affect that water that comes through hydrostatic pressure to these swamps. So we have one major swamp that is called Nkongunarok. This is actually the picture of it. It is found in this area. So Nkongunarok, it has a meaning in Maasai language, whereby Nkongu is like the source of water, and then Narok, it is black. This actually came in a way that because of the porous rocks that were formed when Kilimanjaro erupted, and also there is volcano ashes. When the two combine, they form a dark or a black dust-like. So when it mixes with this water that comes from the Nkongu source, it actually turns the color of the water to blackish or to dark. So the Maasai people call it Nkongunarok. So that is where actually the name comes from. Then also, we have some birds in the park. One of them is flamingos. We have both greater and lesser flamingos. These birds actually came to this park 3.5 years back. And the reason is, most of the time we find them in the lakes along the Great Rift Valley. So the waters in the water volume in the Great Rift Valley lakes have actually increased in recent in size or in volume because of two reasons. Number one, there is a lot of rain that have been happening. So when it rains, there are rivers that actually takes water to these lakes. So those ones, the water that come from outside because of rain have actually increased or have, it's one of the reasons why the level of water have gone up. Number two, the geographers says the walls of the Rift Valley always try to attract each other after every 100 years. So when they try to attract each other, the water table underground always gets squeezed and it tries to get space by coming up. So that is another reason why the water level in the Rift Valley lakes is increasing. Therefore, when the water is very high, the food for the flamingos, that is the blue algae, cannot be able to grow in such big water because it actually grows mostly in places whereby the water is a bit salty, because it helped the pH in the water, helped the blue algae to grow. So when the water is too much, definitely that level of pH will be dissolved. Therefore, the food cannot be able to grow. So these flamingos normally breed in two lakes, that is Lake Magadi and Lake Natron in Tanzania, but they are very, very close to each other. So when they breed there, they normally go back either to Lake Bogoria or Amboseli. But also we have very, very few individuals that have remained in Lake Nakuru, but they are very, very few. So that is greater flamingo. And then another thing is we also have a lot of migrant birds. These migratory birds normally come to East Africa in the month of February, March, even up to April. That is actually when we have long rain in East Africa. So this bird is a migrant. It is called the blackstock. This is a blackstock. They migrate from Europe to Africa. They even go up to Southern Africa, then they go back later. Then this is also the view of flamingos in the lake. Then you can also see these are the black-winged ducks. They're small birds you can see here, the black-winged teal. Then we also have ostriches, that is the Maasai ostrich, because we have two ostrich in East Africa. We have, in Africa actually, we have Maasai ostrich and Somali ostrich, but mostly Somali ostrich here in East Africa are found in the northern part of Ecuador. Then we also have the yellow-beaked stork. They are also found there, large number. We also have this small bird called the African jacana. African jacana are in two species actually we have in Amboseli, or in Kenya, we have this one called African jacana and lesser jacana. Lesser jacana is also there, but the colors are a bit different because the lesser jacana, they don't have this bluish head and then or crown. Then also the color of the feathers, it is not this much reddish. It's almost yellowish. And the good character about the bird you can see, that is the African jacana, it's one of the species in East Africa that actually practice what is called polyandrous. Polyandrous is actually, it means a bird that can have multiple males than one. So when, for example, they are mating, when she's mating with a male, she can actually do it with multiple males, but not one. So that is the meaning of polyandrous. We also have the pelicans in the Amboseli National Park. We have the greater white pelicans. They are also there. We also have African fish eagle. They are found in the area. And most of the time, the fish that is found there is the catfish. So you can actually be able to capture some pictures, not mostly when they are picking them up, but when they are feeding them. It is difficult, they cannot pick, and then you check like the pictures. For example, for photographers, you cannot get good pictures as you can get in Lake Naivasha, for example, for those that have been in Kenya and go to Lake Naivasha to take the pictures while the fish eagle taking the fish. So sometimes it's a bit difficult to get because the catfish actually they hide themselves in the swamp, so it is difficult for the fish to take them once. Then we also have some birds like the starlings. This is called the superb starling. They're also found there. And then we have the sandalbill stork, also found in the area. Then this is the gray crown crane. They are found there in large number. Then this is the kingfisher. It's also found there. Then we also have some owls, like we have also have the white-faced whistling duck. We have the Belfast whistling duck. We have the ferox eagle owl. We also have the African grass owl. We also have the African wood owl. Then also we have the barn owl. We also have the marsh owl. We have the African scoop owl, the white-faced scoop owl. So you can actually be able to get a lot of species of birds in the area, mostly the water birds. Then also for these owls, you might actually have to struggle for you to get them because it is a bit tricky, but when you are a bird watcher, it is actually easy for them to see because they'll be concentrating on birds other than any other animal. Then today we are going to talk, we have some animals called the Big Five in Kenya or in East Africa. So these Big Five are the elephant, we have the rhinos, we have the buffalo, we have the lion, and the leopard. So in Amboseli National Park, because it is a place that is actually known for elephant, we are actually going to discuss about the elephant as one of the Big Five today. So I'm going to give you some information or the facts about the African elephant as one of the Big Five. So the reason why these Big Five are so called, it is because these are the animals that were actually people used to hunt them because of ivory. Like you can see the African elephant on the left side, they have very, very huge tusks. So people actually hunt them so that they can be able to sell or to take out the tusk and sell them as ivory. Then we have the rhinos. People kill the rhinos so that they can take the horn and sell them. We also have the lions. People kill lions so that they can take like the whole face or the skin and decorate in their houses. We also have the claws and the teeth like the canines. Same thing happened to the leopard, skin, claws and the teeth. And also for the buffalo, the other reason why the Big Five are so called, it is because these are the most difficult animals to be hunted because they are very dangerous, not only to human beings, but to other wild animals. So they are called Big Five because they are dangerous and also because of ivory. Then the buffalo is one of the most dangerous of the Big Five. These guys are difficult to be hunted because they kill people. And then also, you see, this is the only animal that can challenge a lion. The buffaloes can actually kill lions, so they are very dangerous. They don't have any ivory that people kill them to take unless it is someone who wants food. They are very tasty. They can eat the meat, but actually they are very dangerous, and that's why they are in the list of the Big Five. So now, the pictures you can see on the screen are two different elephants. We have the African elephant on the left side, and also we have the Asian elephant on the right side. So I just want to show you how to differentiate the two species. Number one, you see the body size. Though this African elephant, the picture that I picked, is actually an elephant called Tim. This is one of the biggest guy or biggest elephant we had in Amboseli National Park, but unfortunately he died early this year, which is just died a natural death. So it's not because of poachers. So you see African elephants are big in size compared to Asian elephant. Then also number two, you can see the size of the ears. The African elephant ears are much bigger than Asian elephant. You can also see the shape and the size of the head. It is much slope and much longer for the African elephant compared to Asian elephant, whereby they have a bit round head and it's a bit pointed or very, very round at the forehead. So that is another different. Then different number two is the tusk. Yes, in Africa, elephants, all sexes, that is the male and the female, all of them has the tusk. They grow the tusk at the age of 2 to 2.5 years, and actually they retain them forever. Like every year, you find 7 centimeters is growing in the African elephant tusk. But for the Asian elephant, most of the elephant are tuskless. They don't have tusk, apart from some male, whereby you can see that male behind the female. He actually have some tusk. So they also have tusk, but not all of them. And then also you can be able to see like this elephant, African elephant. This elephant actually has very, very long tusks. Not all of them that have such long tusks, but actually he's a very, very massive elephant. Actually, the Kenya Wildlife Service sometimes have to trim his tusk so that he can be able to walk. Then number two, we have male and female elephants as an African elephant, because that is a species that we are going to discuss today as one of the big five. Also, Asian elephant has male and female, but I'm going to discuss about African elephant. Difference number one is the body size. Male are definitely bigger than female, and that actually applies to most of wild animals apart from hyenas, whereby hyenas, female are bigger than male. Then for the elephant, actually a male is bigger than a female. So the one on the left side is male, the one on the right side is female. Then the forehead. You see, the male forehead is actually slope. It is slope, it's like very slope, not pointed like for the female elephant. So that is one of the biggest characteristics that are actually as a guide when the elephants are far and you want to know if it is a male and a female, and you cannot be able to tell by the size sometime because it is very far. You can take your binocular and actually try to see when the elephant is horizontal, or like you can be able to see one side. You can tell by the shape of the forehead, whereby you can see this female forehead is pointed, and for the male it is actually sloped. It's not pointed like the female. Then number two, the size of the head is big for the male because of one reason: the tusk. Male tusks are much larger. I cannot say they are like very tall, just the size. They are a bit large compared to the female, and therefore because of that largeness, it actually makes the head of the male elephant to be much broader or bigger. So that is another difference. Then difference number two, definitely we have things that you can actually be able to see, like the mammary glands. For the female, the mammary glands are actually in front. They are in between the forelegs, just like women, like human being. So that is another thing you can be able to tell, because sometimes it is difficult to tell from the reproductive organs. This is because if the male reproductive organ is not down, it is difficult to tell because the testicles are actually inside for the male. They are inside, they are very, very close to kidneys. That is where the testicles of the male elephant are located. And then for the female, the vagina of the female elephant, it is located in the just behind the hind legs. It is hanging. So if you are not very much familiar, you can actually see and say that is our testicles and all that. If you are not informed or if you don't know, so sometimes it is difficult actually to differentiate between the reproductive organs. It is actually you can tell by mammary glands and the size of the body, size of the tusk. Sometimes if the elephant is fully grown, and the forehead. Then another thing is also elephants. They have left and right-handed, just like human being. We have left and right-handed people. So on the picture, you can see the elephant on the left side. He's left-handed. And he's left-handed because you can actually see the left-hand side tusk is much shorter than the right-hand side tusk. So that guy is definitely left-handed. Then the elephant on the right side, you see the right-hand side tusk is much shorter than the left-hand side tusk. This means this elephant is right-handed. So I want to tell you the reason why. Why are these tusks shorter than the others? Number one, they use this tusk for digging of mineral salts and digging of water. When there is water scarcity, they normally use this tusk to dig the ground to get water. And we have actually encountered as a guide, I have seen most cases where elephants dig the sand to get water, mostly in places like Samburu, whereby sometimes River Ewasongiro is dry, so they dig the ground to get water. Also places like Amboseli, just on the banks of the swamps, this elephant can dig the ground to get some soil or some mud to wallow themselves, to prevent sunburn, insect bite, and also to cool themselves down. So that is the reason why this tusk is much shorter. Also, they use this tusk for debarking the trees. That is to remove the barks of the trees to chew so that they can be able to get that juice. They might also understand that when they eat that, they can be able to increase their immune system. So I guess they could be very, very good guys to advise us as human beings at this time of Corona. How are we going to boost our immune system? So we can also start to debug the trees and get some medicinal herbs. Then another thing is they use the tusk when they are moving from one place to another, and maybe they are using very thick bushes. They normally make the way using their tusk, like to take aside some branches or to break some trees. Number two, the elephant also mark trees, whereby they take their tusk and try like to put on the tree, like to make some marks. Sometimes they can also be using to mark it, like to mark their territory, but that is not really 100% the case. But they mark the trees, for example, maybe if they are trying to sharpen, they can also use that one, like to test if their tusks are really sharp. They use that one, and sometimes they break because mostly they use the one that they are used to. So if it is this left-handed one, he used mostly the left-hand one, and this right, you can see it is even broken because they use mostly for all those things that I've told you. So also they can put down some trees and they dig the roots for chewing, because most of the time you find the roots of the tree are more tasty. Even for us as Maasai, when we take the roots of, when we want some medicinal herbs, mostly we take the roots of the tree because they are more powerful than the trunk or than the branches. So that is the same thing happens to the elephant. So then the next thing we go is the trunk, elephant trunk. The elephant trunk are very, very important because this is like the nose. Just like we have the nose as human being, the trunk is the nose for the elephant, and also it is the upper lip for the elephant. As you can see, my mouth, this is where the mouth is. This is the downward lip, and this is the upper lip. So it is a very, very important part in the elephant. So this trunk has a lot of muscles. You can't imagine when I tell you. The elephant trunk has between 40,000 to 150,000 muscles. So it doesn't have any bones in the trunk. It is only the muscles and some fats. It has some fats on it. So this trunk, they normally use it for breathing because this is where the breathing point is, where if you can see my mouth, that is where the breathing point is. So that is where they use to breathe. Number two, they also use when they are sensing something. For example, if someone is coming, or if, for example, a male is want to test the female, if in oesters, they normally take that tip of the trunk and pull to the female and try to put in the mouth, or even just sniff it and test if the female is in oestra. So it is also one of their scents because they use it to sense something. They also use the trunk to touch. For example, when they are grazing, normally they use their trunk to take the grass to their mouth. So they also use that. Another one is they use the trunk to make sound. It is a sound producer. So when they are in danger, they actually trumpet using the trunk. Then also, yeah, I already told you about grasping the grass and all that. And also even when they are taking food from high heights, they still use the trunk. And also this trunk, because of those much muscles, they can actually be able to lift a lot of weight. They can actually be able to lift up to 350 kilograms weight. And also the muscles normally can make this trunk like to go to stretch very high, like to reach very high heights, because it can reach up to 7 meters high. So when those muscles actually open or stretch up. Then we also have the ears of the elephant. Those are the most, also very, very sensitive parts in the elephant, whereby they use the ears to regulate body temperatures. This is because the ears, for example, if you see the back of the ear of this elephant, there is a lot of veins. So it contains a lot of capillaries that actually release the heat from the body of the elephant to outside. So sometimes you find the elephant flapping their ears. That is actually to regulate body temperatures. And definitely they use the ears for hearing. And they actually have very, very bad, poor eyesight, and they have very good sense of smell. So they can actually be able to smell, as I told you earlier. And then also, when it comes to elephant teeth, the elephant teeth are very, very unique. And they are 26 in number. They have this task. We count them as the part of the elephant teeth. So those are tooth teeth. They have 12 premolars and 12 molars. So for the molars, what happened? They actually wear out 6 times. So the first pair actually goes when the elephant is 2 to 3 years. So it doesn't like get out and go like that. It starts from the back, whereby the teeth grow from backward and squeeze the rest that have already grown from this side. They squeeze them outward and come out. When the elephant tries to chew food, when the upper and the lower one are gripe or try to, when they are chewing, they just wear out or get out and go. So the first one happened when the elephant is 2 to 3 years old, and then they grow again. And when they are 4 to 6 years old, the other ones get away. Then they grow again. When they are 9 to 15 years, those ones that have grown again move out. Then when they are 18 to 28, that is now the 4th generation of teeth, they go out again. And then the 5th one, when the elephant is early 40s, those teeth again move out. Therefore, this elephant will not be able to chew food well. They cannot be able to feed as much food as they used to. It's, you know, that the elephant consume between 150 to 300 kgs of food daily. That is without water, only food. So the amount of food that they eat actually reduce because they cannot be able to chew like hard food. For example, when elephants of Amboseli, for instance, move from the swamp is easy to chew, and go to the base of Kilimanjaro to get some trees and shrubs, it is difficult to chew those branches. So if they only depend on the grass or soft food, therefore the immune system, or even they can die because of anger. So they can actually, they cannot be able to eat much food. So that is how they die naturally, because of starving. They can actually starve and die naturally. Then we again go to the skin of the elephant. The skin of the elephant, it's gray in color. And sometimes you find when you go to the places whereby the soil is red, you find the elephants are red. For example, elephants of Samburu National Reserve, but not all Samburu. It's just some part of it, because in, for example, in Buffalo Springs, some parts, it has some salty soil, some salinity, soil with salinity, so the soil is a bit whitish in color. So when the elephant wallow the soil, wallow themselves on that kind of mud, they come out whitish. When they go to the northern side of Samburu National Reserve, you find sometimes the soil are red in some parts. When you go to Tsavo National Parks, all elephants are red, and this is because of the soil. Then, so they actually dust themselves or put themselves or wallow themselves on the mud to prevent this skin. They have very, very sensitive skin, so they wallow themselves or dust themselves to prevent insects bite, because the moment they wallow, the insect, for example, the mosquito, the sesefly, instead of getting direct to the skin, they first get the mud. So that is already a barrier. So they do that. And another one, number two, is they do that to prevent sunburn. It is hot in these places, and they have sensitive skin, so they wallow so that the penetration of heat can actually be able to reduce. Number 3 is actually they do that to cool themselves down when it is very hot. And also, it's a very, very huge animal. So that is what happened. And then sometimes you find the weight of the elephant is mostly in front. As you can see by example of this elephant, the ears are so huge, the trunk is very big, the tusks are huge as well, because average weight of an elephant tusk range between 36 kilograms to 68 kilograms. So that is very, very big weight. It's not permanent, just like us, human being. Some people have long teeth and big. Some people have small teeth and thick and all that. So it all varies. So what happened? The hind legs, the front legs of an elephant are actually, they have very, very large surface area. They have like 5 toes line. That is to increase the surface area so that this elephant can be able to withstand the weight. And another thing is the joints of an elephant. They are not like any other joint of any other animal. The bones are like placed to each other. So you find this elephant can be able to move all directions, mostly in our front legs. And when even they go to slope areas, they don't just walk down, but they kneel down and go by their buttons, like they just slide because of the formation, how their joints are formed. And also, these animals are created in such kind of joints because of the weight. So they can actually be able to stand for a long time without getting tired, because these joints are just placed to each other. So it is not, the animal will not be able to be very, very heavy. Then also you find some elephants standing, and they place their legs on top of one other. Actually, that one we normally call Maasai style, because that is how the Maasai stand sometimes. They stand in one leg, and actually we don't do it for the same reason like an elephant. The elephant actually do that as they are trying to expose their soul to reduce or to release the heat from their soul. So because their soul, they are like sponge. They are like it's like a mattress. It's very spongy. It's not solid. So they actually have some small openings whereby they can be able to expose to release the heat from there. But for the Maasai, we don't expose our souls. What we do is actually you try to stabilize yourself so that in case of anything, you can be able to run all directions. So for example, if I could be able to demonstrate it well, but now it's unfortunate because it is a bit difficult because of the camera. It's very small. So for us, it's for the Maasai, it's for someone to rotate like 360 degrees. Then the last thing about the elephant is mating. So what happened to the elephants when they are mating? The male normally produce some hormones called testosterone, but before testosterone, they produce the mast that is between the ears and the eye. Maybe you can see where my mouse is. There's a small place here whereby they produce their mast here. And then when they produce, that is actually the time they are on heat or they want to mate with the female, and they become very, very aggressive. They can even chase cars when we are on game drive. They become aggressive to any other creature, other animals apart from the elephants. They become aggressive even to other bulls, elephant, and females. And then after that, now they produce what is called testosterone. That is the hormones whereby they flow from their penis down to the legs. So when they spread all over their legs, they will actually be able to step on it. And whenever they walk, they always leave a mark. And for the female, if there is one that is on heat, because the female on oesters, it's seasonal. They are not on heat all the time. It is always seasonal. So what happened is they with the moment they realize there is a male or they are in oesters, this male actually will be able to examine by sniffing on the urine and actually try to see if the female is ready for mating. So most of the time, the female produce a small discharge that actually will be able to direct the male if the female is in estrus, then is on heat. And then for the female, they normally try to do mating with all bulls because the moment they do it, they will definitely be pregnant. For the young bulls, it is sometimes 50-50 because even for the mast, the young elephant cannot be able to produce until they are between 28 to 35 years. That is the time they start to produce the real thing, the mast together with the testosterone. So it mostly happens with the big males. And then there's other things about the elephant. They actually live 60 to 70 years. So that's why I said when they are early 40s, when their teeth are gone, they are in their latest age. They are actually becoming old. So they cannot be able to chew food and they are heading to end because they live 60 to 70 years. Then another thing, the African elephant, the fully grown up one, weigh up to 6 tons. They are very, very huge. They are actually the second biggest mammal on earth after the whale. So it's 6 tons. Then another thing is the gestation period of the elephant. It is actually 22 months, almost 2 years. And the average weight of the litter or the calf, it's around 120 kilograms. So most of the time you find the elephant don't give birth to twins, but we had one in Kenya 2 years back that actually gave birth to twins. It's actually 1.5 years. I think it was 2018, but that's one of the twin died, just natural death. So it is actually Amboseli, it's a very, very unique place because that is the only place we have ever seen since we were born, or even for history of this country, we have seen the elephant that have given birth. Even they said before that, there was another one 38 years back that actually given birth to twins in the same park. So that is a park whereby there is a small genes of giving twins. So guys, that is all about the elephants for today. So I will actually allow you to ask some questions. But before questions, this is actually some information. You can actually get me on Facebook as Lenny Koshal. Then also on Instagram, it's the same name, Lenny Koshal. Then also the website you can see, or the name of the company is my company, Safari Company. We sell tours along East Africa. So Taye Safaris is the name of the company. And it's now time to allow you to ask questions, if any. Then I say, thank you very much. Asante sana. Can you hear me, Paul?
Yes, Lenny, can you hear me? Am I loud and clear, all of you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, great. That was wonderful, Lenny. It was great to understand the complete anatomy and all the characteristics and behaviors of the elephants in their natural habitat. Thank you for enlightening and specifically mentioning these unique characters that a particular, the African elephant has. Also, we do have certain questions. Is Anchita still tuned with us? Anchita had a question about a unique type of elephant called the African bush elephants and the different species. So he would like to know more about the bush elephants.
So thank you for the question. Actually, we have the African savanna elephant and the African forest elephant. So the African forest elephant are actually found in the western part of Africa. We don't have them in East Africa. We only have the African savanna elephant. So those are the two species we have. And actually, when it comes to the differences, the African elephant, the savanna one, is much bigger compared to the forest elephant. And you can actually be able to tell when you compare to the these huge mammals in the forest and on savanna, definitely the one on savanna has more advantages because of the mineral salts and the soil and the grass. And the African elephant, the forest one, are mostly in the bushes. It is cold there. It's mostly the mountain or the forest grasses are there. So the African savanna elephant are much bigger, and we don't have them in East Africa, and they are found in Western Africa. Thank you.
Great. That's a very complete, very fulfilling answer. I hope Anjita is hearing that, and he is pretty happy with what you've explained.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
One more question, just 1 minute regarding this African, the forest elephants. Are they similar look, or the look has a different also, apart from the size?
Also the size of the tusk. The size of the tusk is a bit different because the forest elephant tusks are they are a bit smaller compared to the savanna elephant. So size-wise, the African elephant is it's mostly the size that we can actually be able to tell because all other characteristics are the same.
All right, thank you. That's it from my side.
Welcome.
Yes, Anupam, I think you have a couple of questions as well. Hello?
Yes, Lenny. Yes, sorry. So that was a very informative session on Amboseli as well as the elephants. I have one question which is very specific from a point of a photographer, since you're a photographer as well. Are there any specific suggestions when photographing the African elephants, like anything that a photographer should keep in mind to get some unique shots?
Yeah, actually, there are a lot of unique shots as per my experience on photography or what I've actually learned from the clients, photographers that I've been taking. And mostly, if, for example, you go to places like Amboseli and get such an elephant, because the elephant you can see on the left side is called crane. It's one of the third elephant that is very, very famous in the park, just because of the size and also the tusk. So when, for example, you get the portrait of that elephant, if, for example, your target is to sell that picture or to do what, it actually depends what you want to do with that picture. Also, when the elephants are dusting themselves, definitely you can be able to get the best shots. And in that case of Amboseli, the elephants, well, they are in the swamps. Some parts of the swamps are very, very deep. As deep as like 6 feet or even, 6 feet. So you find this bull, you can only see half of him. So when you take the picture while he's in the swamp and when he's on the land, you can actually be able to learn something or to be able to differentiate on your picture. So it actually depends what you want to do with that picture. You want to go and sell it or what? So that is the time now you can decide with your guide. You tell him, I want A, B, C, D, and therefore you can be able to arrange in the field what you want to do.
Absolutely. Thanks for that.
Yes, I think Bristow would like to ask another question. Bristow?
Hi, Lenny. Thank you so
Hi,
much
hi.
for the detailed elaboration about Amboseli National Park.
Thank you. Thank you,
Um
Tana.
I have actually two questions. One is regarding what are the something like major animals that you don't find in Amboseli Park and that you only find in another national park like Tsavo or Masai Mara? And the second question is, when is the right time to come to Amboseli National Park to get the best photographs? Like because maybe the Kilimanjaro is hidden under the fog, and we will not be able to capture the Kilimanjaro. So we want to know what is the best time to come there to photograph them with good clarity, and what will be the animals we will be missing in this specific national park.
Okay, thank you for your question. I want to answer your second question before the first question. So, for the time to travel to Amboseli, normally, big rains in Amboseli are in April, March, April, then also November, October. So, what happened? It is always good to travel to Amboseli anytime because the elephants are always there. But when there is a lot of rain, sometimes you cannot be able to get as many pictures of elephant as you want or as you can when it is not raining, because most of the elephant during a lot of rain, remember there is a lot of grass all over, so they don't come to the swamp. So sometimes it will be difficult for you to get the pictures of the elephant coming out of base of Kilimanjaro towards the swamp, like the picture you can see, or them going outside from the swamp to the base of Kilimanjaro. So most of the time you can visit Amboseli when it is not much rain, and also you need to check. Like now, we are just going to start winter in Kenya, whereby you find maybe the peak of Kilimanjaro cannot be able to be visible most of the time in the morning or late in the evening, because mostly in the morning because it is cold, because it is winter. So, but anyway, any time is good, apart from when it is much raining for those months that I've told you, mostly in March, April. It is raining a lot and sometimes the animals go outside. But at the same time, when you want to visit there, you can actually inquire from people in that area, because sometimes climate change or such sort of things can actually be able to change the theme of photography in the area. Then your second question, can you repeat please? Because there is a small place that I didn't get you well.
Yeah, actually, the question was the animals that you don't normally find in Amboseli, but you can only find them in other national parks. I was in Masai Mara last time.
Yes.
I didn't come to Amboseli, so I just want to know what will be missing in Amboseli and what are the benefits compared to other parks.
Thank you, Mr. Bristow. Number one, for the big five, we only have 3 of the big 5 in Amboseli. That is elephant, lion, and buffalo. No rhino, no leopard. Number 2, the wildebeests that are found in Masai Mara are different from the one we have in Amboseli. Masai Mara, Serengeti, the one that migrate, are called white bearded wildebeest western race. They are found in the western side. They are white bearded but western race. Number 2, the ones that are found in Amboseli are called white bearded eastern race with an R-A-C-E. So that is another different. Number 2, the type of waterbuck we have the common waterbuck in Amboseli with a white ring at the back. When you go to Masai Mara, we have the Defasa waterbuck with a white patch. Then also, mostly, I can say an animal like a gerenuk, you cannot find them in Masai Mara, but they are found in Amboseli because mostly are found in dry area. Gerenuk is an antelope with a very long neck, They almost look like a impala, but they are small in size, a bit slender with a long neck. So those are the few remarks or few things that I can tell you different of Amboseli and the other places. So yes, that is a thing.
Thank
Yes.
you, Lenny.
Karibu sana.
Yes, I think Sushant, are you online? Sushant Ghatak would like to ask a question. as well.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello,
Am I
Sushant.
visible and audible?
Yes, very clear.
Yeah. Hi, Lenny. Thanks for the lovely session in regards to the information you have shared.
Yes,
I think
Karibu.
it was great information which we have been looking for. I've got a very quick question. Like, you have your own safari trips and all, and you have been saying that you need to inform your guide that what I've been looking for while taking a photograph of elephants
Yes.
or other animals. So how long does the time spent, like how much time you allow the person, the visitor or the photographer to be with you in a vehicle with a guide so that they can click the pictures? Because you said the elephants are most of the time might be far off or in the morning, in the evening, not visible. So like how is it possible that you can help us to capture those animals, to click pictures of them? So how much time we can spend outside in your vehicle?
Okay, now as a guide, I just want to tell you that Amboseli is actually, I don't know if you can see my screen, the map of Amboseli.
Yeah, I can see.
Yes, so you see the size of the park. The size of the park is only 392 square kilometers. I'm actually talking about Amboseli only, 392 square kilometers. And the place is also hot. So most of the time when people go on safari to Amboseli, you can actually, they can do some photography, for example, elephant at Kilimanjaro, and that mostly happen morning time and evening time. If, for example, you want to take the pictures of them coming, so that you can take with Kilimanjaro, of pictures of them going, so that you can take with the Kilimanjaro. Number two, if you are a bird watcher and you need photograph for birds, then I can recommend full day game drive if it is bird watching and bird watching photography. Number two, if also you are an elephant photographer and there are specific elephants that you want, like this big elephant of big tusk, I also recommend like full day game drive. But if you are just a normal safarian with a family, morning and evening game drive is perfect. So for example, I will brief you. It is evening now. Tomorrow, we are leaving with picnic breakfast for game drive, so that we leave the camp 6:30 or even before 6:30, so that you can be able to get sunrise. We will have a picnic breakfast at the viewpoint, the one that I just show you the picture at Nomotiok viewpoint, or even along Lake Amboseli, and go back to the camp for breakfast, for lunch, and then again, evening game drive. But if it is, the clients want to do full day, you have your breakfast in the camp and go with picnic lunch and then come back in the evening. Then, or also you can carry both picnic breakfast and picnic lunch. You leave at 6:15, 6:20, and come back after sunset, because you're ready for safari, you're ready for photography, and the guides are always ready. I know myself, always ready. So it actually depends. You can sit in the car. It actually depends on which kind of safari are you, or how much excitement do you have for this. Are you able to do full day or not? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Karibu, sir. Karibu.
Great. Anybody else would like to clarify? Any questions? Anything
Yes,
related?
I have a second question as yes. So, Lenny, what are the most apt or perfect spots in Amboseli to photograph the elephants in the habitat, in their actual habitat?
What are the spots?
Yes.
Now, if you can see my map, between this place whereby you can see the end of, you see where my mouse is around Kimana camp. This is where
Yes.
Kimana Gate is.
Mhm.
So most of the time, photography happened between Kimana Gate and this junction, Serena and Oltukai, because that is mostly the place where big herds of elephant move from the base of Kilimanjaro towards the swamps. Also, you can go to the western side of the park. If, for example, you want to take the elephant's picture when they walk on the dusty Lake Amboseli with the mirage of the heat coming, hitting the ground. So those kind of pictures you can get from 10 a.m. up to afternoon. So you can actually be able also to get those pictures there. Also on the western side of the park, you can be able to get the pictures of the elephants coming from the eastern side of the park. For example, towards a conservancy. There is a conservancy where this camp called Porini Camp is. So that is a corridor between the conservancy and the main park. So you can also be able to photograph elephants coming from the conservancy to the main park. So I cannot say there are specific spots, but anywhere in Amboseli is the best spot, because due to the availability of food, remember elephants are not like 100% territorial. They can cover up to 700 to 1,000 kilometers searching for food. So this park is very small, so they can go through anywhere. But we have actually families that are used to specific places, specific corridors, so you can photograph elephants in any place or any direction of the park.
Wow, that's really, really amazing information.
Karibu sana. Welcome.
And Lenny, may I just request you to hold the microphone?
Yes.
From touching your ornaments. I think it is creating some disturbance in the background. So you can just hold the microphone with your hand so that the cable doesn't move. I have a question myself, Lenny, and I'm sure that would help a lot of other photographers who are planning to visit Kenya. The basic, everybody knows how to reach Kenya. Like many photographers who are very active, they are already used to these trips and they know what to do, where to go, and how things are done. How would you advise a new individual who is planning to visit Kenya? Which itinerary should he follow? Which resort or which restaurant should he select? Which hotel in Nairobi should he select in a cost-effective manner? You know, how long is the drive from Nairobi to Masai Mara, and what are the options and what are the best times of the year, etc. You know, a general information that will help people to be prepared to reach Nairobi.
Also, I would like to add to this, Lenny, a very good question by Paul. Just an addition to the question, is there any flight service from Masai Mara to Amboseli, like what we have from Nairobi to Masai Mara, which will reduce the span of the travel in between?
First of all, time by car from Nairobi to Amboseli is around 3.5 to 4 hours. If there will not be traffic of trucks that are transporting goods and cargo from Mombasa to Nairobi or from Nairobi to Mombasa, if there will not be traffic between Nairobi and a place called Emali, then you're good to go between 3.5 to 4 hours. Then flights are 100% available. From Nairobi to Amboseli, from Masai Mara to Amboseli, they are very, very much available. Another thing, time between Masai Mara and Nairobi. Now the asphalt road, the tarmac road is 100% complete. From Nairobi, the hotel that you will depart up to the main gate of Masai Mara called Sekenani Gate. So it will take you now from Nairobi to Narok town it can take you 2.5. Then from Narok town to Masai Mara, maybe 1 hour or 1 hour 10 minutes. So you can see it can be 4 hours. Let me say 4 hours or 3.5. And then for the accommodations, as per Mr. Paul's question, for the accommodations, actually,
in Amboseli,
yeah, in Nairobi, it depends on the client's budget because we have different kinds of accommodation. So that one actually I can leave to the client, for example, to decide. We have a lot of properties like we have Sarofas, they are available. We have Serena hotels. We have the Eka Hotel. It's a lot of hotels. It's massive with different prices. And then also in Masai Mara, you can actually be able to get good accommodation, a lot of hotels. So it depends when you go to this park, which time of the year. For example, if you are going during migration, you actually need to get the hotels along the Mara River or even Sand River or along migratory routes so that you can be able to get up early and move to those points. If it is just not migration, normal photography, I will recommend to go to the camps towards the northwest of the park. Like for example, on Talek side is much better because the game drive is much closer. Then when you go to the sides of Olalemutia, it is that is the southeast of the park. Yes, there are some game drive there, but actually it's a lot of vehicles sometimes can be there, and it can take you much time to get to the real hotspots. So I normally recommend from the central, that is around Second Gates towards Starlink. Those are the areas whereby you can be able to stay in. And also remember, if it have rained, definitely there'll be a lot of grass. So sometimes you can go to the lodges along the river, the Mara River, for example, and you have to come back to the eastern side of the park for the game drive. So, and for Amboseli, staying inside the park is good because you won't have like a lot of restrictions. Like you have to wait for sunset so that you can go to the hotel. If you wait for sunset, for example, at a specific point and you are staying outside the park, by the moment you leave the sunset place that you are taking photos to the gate, time will be over. So you can be able to be in trouble. So sometimes staying inside the park, I as a photographer, I highly recommend. So I think your questions are answered. Thank you.
Great. I would like to add on one more question, Lenny. Speaking about the off-road permit in Amboseli. Now, generally in most of the national parks, you're only allowed to move with your vehicle on the tracks that is defined, and you cannot deviate from those tracks. So if you need the permission to deviate from these tracks and go off-road in Amboseli, what is the procedure and how much would it affect on the budget of a particular tour?
Now, when it comes to off-road, actually, you have to talk to the park management. That is, for example, if it is a national park, to the Kenya Wildlife Service, so that you can get off-road. But Amboseli National Park is a very small park. It's a park that you photograph what is very, very obvious. Yes, if it is birds, for water birds, for example, you cannot take off-road like to get to the swamp and take a specific bird. So sometimes I don't think it is very much important for someone to take an off-road permit in such a place like Amboseli, because also the place is swampy. You can, yes, take that off-road, but you can get stuck, and I don't know who will take you out. So everything, the animals are a bit closer, and yes, it is a bit tricky, though you can still talk to the Kenya Wildlife Service if you are someone that is doing research, being there for 1 month, you are following specific herds of elephant because of research and all that. So I've seen people doing that, but not 100% as me as a guide. I know the place. I don't really do like recommend 100% because of the animals. Yes. And sorry for the noise. It is actually this jewelry that are making
All right.
the noise.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful.
Not me.
They are
Yes, yes.
really nice.
Yeah.
There is one pending question from Amar, I believe. He had asked, he's asked how many days family trip would you recommend, especially for family and for photographers as well? Because
yes,
the requirements
sorry.
are entirely difficult.
Yes. Now, that one actually always depends on how much time does a client have on the safari, but it depends. If, for example, you are going to Amboseli National Park for photography, I can say for photographers, 3 nights is good. 3 nights is good. You can actually spend 3 nights. For families, 2 nights is good. So photographers, you can do 3, even 4 nights if you really want to get real things. And excuse me, for families, 2 nights is good. 2 nights is good so that when you arrive, you do evening game drive. The following day, you can do full day or half day, morning, evening. Then the other day, if you are not going to a park that is far, you can do morning game drive and leave to the other destination. And for Masai Mara, that is like the heart of Kenya. You can even spend like 1 month in that place, and every day you get something different. So if you come, for example, during migration, remember you'll be photographing killings of lions, cheetahs, leopards, and crocodiles. Mostly, if you come when it is just time that the wildebeests have come, so everyone is hungry, everyone wants food, you will see a lot of crazy things. So you also need more than 4 nights in the place, or even, let's say if you don't have much time for holiday, yeah, 4 nights is good, or even 5 nights is good. So those are, but also for Mara, for families, 2 nights is good, or 3 nights. And it actually all this depends on that, how much time does the family have for holiday before they go back. So when actually it comes to time to arrange for safari, if you tell me I'm free from this date to this date, I will actually, if you don't want one park, I'll be able to make an itinerary for you. For example, Amboseli, Naivasha, Mara. That is not very far. So that is all about those questions.
Great, Lenny. So I think that is pretty much it. Sushant Ghatak already asked the question. Yes, Sushant, or you have the question?
Yeah, I got the answer. I got answers. The similar kind of question I had in regards to take my family as photographers also. So I got covered.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. So I think, Lenny, we will slowly conclude the session. Before I do that, a big thanks for Lenny for his time and for all the experience and knowledge that he has shared with us. And adding on to that, there is part 2 and there is part 3 coming up. Part 2 is going to be about Lake Nakuru and Samburu together. That is how part 2 is going to be clubbed. And part 3 will be completely devoted to the heart of Kenya, as Lenny said, that is Masai Mara. So we will have 2 more sessions that is planned, and the dates will be informed via WNWP page as well as the group wall. And I'm sure these interesting sessions are a very good source of knowledge and information about the wilderness in Nairobi. Thank you very much, Lenny. Heaps of thanks, tons of thanks. And thank you all for your time. Thank you all for being part of this and all the support. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Lenny. Thanks to all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you.
Asante
Thanks a
sana.
lot for your time, Lenny. We look forward for your sessions, upcoming sessions. And thank you to all the members who have attended this. Got a lot of information to coming your way as well in the next session.
Thank you. Asante sana.
Thank you, Lenny, for providing your information, your website, and your contact details. So definitely, I'll get in touch with you in regards to visit. So I'll inform you. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lenny. It's a very informative session. Very much. We are going to go and see you again also soon.
For sure. Asante sana. Thank you.